Because if we want to understand whether there is a heart beating inside that machine, we need to understand how the machine is built. Well, artificial intelligence, although everybody has been talking about it for the last 6 months, is not something new. It's a corpus of work that is at least 30-year-old. And it's a corpus of work that has got one single purpose, which is to develop intelligent machines. And to build intelligent machines, you rely on 3 components: machine learning, human learning, and data science. And in many ways, there is a lot of similarities between those 3 components and raising a child. Now, can I do a show of hands? How many in the room have got children? All right, okay. A good half, okay. So let me try to do that. Just like a child, we get its foundational learning from their parents, their teachers, the book they read. Machine learning is the science that looks at non-properties, connections between entities that we know. You need to think of if-then scenarios. If my son walks down the street and sees a puddle, then he should walk around it to not get his feet wet. If my daughter is nice throughout the year, then at Singing class, she will get a present. If I buy that book, then I would probably like this one. If I book that trip to Mauritius, then I probably need to buy an insurance. Those are very basic if-then scenarios, just to give you a sneak peek of what we're talking about when we speak about non-properties. Connection between entities that are well known. A piece that we overlook more frequently than ever is human learning. Now, let me bring that back to an example. Even for those who didn't raise their hand, that will resonate. A child will rapidly learn that if they shout and cry, they'll get your attention. Does that make sense? Do you remember that moment in the mall? Yeah? And, ah! Well, as a parent, you will want to teach that child that this is not a suitable way to communicate. It's certainly not the normal way to communicate. Now, human learning is exactly that. It's helping machine learning to develop and to progress in a right way. At Microsoft, we got hundreds of engineers in China, India, and the US working on Cortana, looking at how our personal digital assistant is evolving and guiding her learning so that she becomes more smart, intelligent, and to a certain extent, human. The third component is data science. Data science is the exploration of unknown properties. You are taking humongous amount of data and you're trying to create, or you're trying to uncover new connections between those data sets. Now, the reason why we have seen so much reference to artificial intelligence in the press lately is because there's been an acceleration in the computing power that is at our disposal. What was required to process that amount of information before is now available to everybody. You don't need to be the MIT, to be the Harvard School of Business to have access to those huge supercomputers. Now, the computing power held into a personal computer that you have at home can allow you to teach a machine. But that leaves us with a question, though. If artificial intelligence is all about data, where's the data coming from? Well, the data is coming from us. We are feeding the artificial intelligence, and so, to a certain extent, artificial intelligence is an extension of us. It's a bit philosophical, but think about that. Now, if we are feeding the artificial intelligence with our own data, the AI will be as relevant as the data it ingests. It will be as fair and socially acceptable as the data it ingests. It will be as human as the data it ingests. Now, to explain how the human intervention can influence the machine learning, I want to bring 2 examples to your attention. Attention. The first one is Tay. Tay was the first attempt to build a Twitter bot, an artificial intelligence that would, by itself, engage with Twitter users and learn from the information that it would ingest. Now, a few people decided to bias the learning process and turn what was a piece of technology into a racist, sexist, and violent robot. It created a piece of software that triggered a very strong emotional response, yet didn't have any opinion. It was just the mirror of the users that were engaging. Now let me bring another example. This is Xiaoice. We developed Xiaoice in China 3 years ago. And Xiaoice is built on the Bing technology that powers our search engine and feeds with the big data. And when the machine learning develops, it creates a bot that is capable of engaging with its users. And when I say engaging, I mean it. I mean conversations that have got 26 turns. Now, what's the weather like? The sun is shining. 26 level of exchanges. The type of questions that were very profound. They were asking her to marry. They were asking, what do you think I'm thinking? How do I feel? AI, that piece of AI developed an EQ and an IQ. It made sense of the context it was evolving. It also was capable of making sense of the past. Therefore, if I was saying to that piece of information, of technology, I had a breakup. Now, one week down the line, the AI could reach out to me and ask me how I was going. If I showed a picture of my puppy, she would recognize the breed and ask me how the pet was growing. Now, to say that Xiaoice has been successful is an understatement. In 3 days after releasing it on WeChat, it had had 1.5 million conversations. We released it on Weibo, which is the Chinese version of Twitter, and in a week, it reached celebrity status. Think about that. A piece of technology without a cell, without a face, suddenly was becoming a celebrity in China. You know that small country? They were asking us whether Xiaoice would want to come on stage to endorse products, to present the news. Now, the interesting thing here is between Tay and Xiaoice, the technology is very similar, and yet two very different outcomes. It's like two twins separated at birth and raised in very different environments, resulting in two very different personalities. So with that in mind, what can we expect of artificial intelligence? Now, as I said earlier on, there is an acceleration of the computing power that is available to us. And that allows us to process more information and even at an even faster pace. That has unlocked some core technologies that are enabling the AI to flourish. The three core technologies I would like to share with you today, or that I'd like to dwell a little bit more